Hey everybody, Jeremy here from Nobot Studios. I am back with another Drawin Stuff video here. It has been a while, so I decided to sit down and have a cup of coffee in front of me on this beautiful sunny afternoon. It is fall in Michigan and the colors are gorgeous. So, yes, it has been a while. I took last week off from putting out any videos. I'm kind of in an in-between spot at the moment, just trying to figure out what video I'm going to do next. I've got a few ideas, but I thought it'd be good to do another one of these. So here I am. And I do have to warn you, my voice is even more faint than usual. Sometimes this happens. I just, like, my vocal cords just kind of go weak or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, so if I kind of fade out here, just enjoy it and enjoy your nap, because that may very well happen. Okay, so just to kind of let you know what I'm doing here is I have been sketching out all these kind of weird little machine parts. The idea is I'm going to use these for GRIT Galaxies. These are mock-ups, of course. I'm going to use these as like kind of detail illustrations in the book. I've got a few ideas of where they're going to go, but I just wanted to do some colorization of these. I've taken these from my sketchbook and digitized them. And it's going to be very much the same process that I did with my tokens for my lineages and scum monsters. So just kick back and enjoy, and we'll just kind of work through some stuff. I think I'm going to start at the bottom. I've got quite a few of these. Yeah, and I'm just going to start, and just to get an idea kind of what color scheme I'm going to go with for these. This is more just to look and see what I like and what's possible. I'm going to follow the same shading that I did with monsters so far in my other videos. So it's going to be maybe three or four colors at most, and just maybe like a shade layer and a highlight. So these are kind of exciting to me, actually. I've always liked like little mechanical, weird, sci-fi machines and stuff like that. So it's kind of right up my alley. And them being modular is kind of nice too. I'm going to be able to stack these together and make like bigger machines if I wanted to. Which is kind of cool. I like this one because of the rivets. I got a thing for rivets. They're just a really interesting design component. I think that relates to my metalsmithing experience from back in the day. I really liked bronze metal, and bronze rivets are cool, especially when you combine like either bronze or brass with copper. It's kind of a nice combo, but these are not going to be that. Not really being picky here. I'm just sort of doing what I think is decent looking. So, the GRIT Galaxies news. I am 6 test sessions in. Got a 7th that is scheduled. We'll see if that goes through. Got, I think, 2 players signed up so far, which is cool. I've been actually testing with some folks on the other side of the pond, which is awesome. So folks from Scotland and Germany and Croatia. It's been a good time. So shout out to all my European friends out there. I appreciate you trying out the game and giving me all the good feedback and stuff on it. I have been writing a lot, and really that has been all I've been doing with Galaxies. I haven't done much illustration work except for sketching in my sketchbook. Yeah, I've been just really hammering out the pages. Like I have done probably, I don't know, 9 to 10 pages in the last couple days. And that has been mostly in the monster section. I have core rules are all done, which is awesome. Players section is all done as well. I'm starting to work into the GM's guide a bit. So making progress there. Monsters is kind of part of that. All the builders are done. I may have mentioned that before with other videos, but yeah, the builders are all finished. I actually added a section, or not added, but I increased a section in the story builder. So now there are 40 more locations. So 80 locations total, which just exponentially increases the amount of possibilities for the story builder, which is one of the best parts of the book. I have started in on the vehicles section, which is going to be something that requires testing. I have some concepts I'm working on that will need a little bit of work to get right. I'm trying something new. I've mentioned that in, I think, my last video, but yeah, trying new stuff on that. I want to move away from kind of like the set roles that you see in a lot of, or at least the games that I've played of sci-fi, like having these set roles, that, each person, one person's a pilot, one person's a gunner, one person's an engineer, and you just sort of mechanically go through the process of controlling a ship that way. And to me, it's kind of lacking something. So I am going to work on some different stuff with that. So we'll see. Time will tell. I have a feeling it's going to work out, though. I am purposely simplifying that process, and I'm setting out to not make a war game out of it. That's what I want to avoid. To me, that's sort of, you get into the ship combat thing and it becomes like a little bit more wargamey. I don't know. I mean, it's very similar to how characters interact, but just the idea that the characters are in a ship and are having these ship battles. I would rather have adventures with the characters in the game and not having a ship battle. So, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Trying to think of what else. Oh, yeah, the monsters that I've been coming up with have been making me crack up. I've been enjoying writing those. There's some crazy ones, for sure. Crazy and funny. And there's some downright just frightening ones too, which is good. I kind of like that mix of things. And the experience of working with fantasy, GRIT fantasy really helped, has helped my process in creating those things, because I feel like I can come up with mechanics that, from knowledge of past testing, I know kind of what works and what doesn't. So putting those together is pretty cool, or easy, relatively easy. Plus, I kind of learned how to write a little better, so in the process of making GRIT fantasy, so I feel like kind of in a good place with it. So I probably have probably 7 or 8 left, space monsters, and then I have these scum monsters too that are kind of like the villainous races. Those I have 12 of, and I have just the names and a few things. So those are going to need some work, I think, to get them right. And those will need some testing for sure. Because they have to be able to be turned into characters. Because that's the goal, is to make it possible for the GM to run scum campaigns, or scum one-shots, whatever. Campaign one-shots, whatever, but I want them to be able to be turned into or adapted to using them as characters. So, I mean, if you look at like Star Trek, there's always like a reformed bad guy, who kind of like saw the light or whatever, had some experience that, got him on the good guys team. And I want to be able to make that possible, easy enough for anyone playing the game to do that. So not only will they have 12 lineages to choose from the standard setup, but they will also be able to, with the GM's permission, have access to the scum. Not that that should be a thing that, you know, is a commonplace thing story-wise, but I like options. I like giving options to the GMs. So. Do I go yellow here? I don't know. It kind of looks a little weird with the blue. Maybe I just need to go more blue. Or more orange. The issue here is the color of the metal is close to what a screen would be. Yeah, I'll just go yellow. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are just mock-ups. Can always adjust the color later if I wanted to. So what else is going on? As far as GRIT Galaxies is concerned, can't think of much. I have not done much as far as loot is concerned. But that will come. That's going to be the last thing I do, I think. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, the plan is to do everything except the loot, and then have Ryan do the editing if he has the time. He's super busy these days. But yeah, get the editing going, and then I can work on the loot and just have that as a separate, just have the loot as a separate thing that I work on, because that takes a lot of time and energy to work through. And that I will probably do one D12 section at a time. Just because it's easier to focus on just one type of item, like a pistol or some kind of wearable item, or I'm actually putting in shards, magic shards in there too. So, yeah. So anyway, it'll be just a process, working through it. And once you kind of get it, you have to get in the mode for that kind of thing. You know, it's not like the rest of the book is kind of just a different process. Especially like the monsters I'm working on now. It's kind of more of a descriptive type thing, so it feels more like writing, whereas the loot is all mechanical. So it takes a different part of your brain, I think. So it's basically just writing like 400 rules, micro rules, basically. So, yeah, I can usually power through it quickly if I, just get in the right frame of mind of working. So, yeah. What else is new here? GRIT projects. Let's see. Let's talk about some other stuff. I know I've mentioned monster cards. I got some coffee here. I'm going to drink. I keep mentioning these monster cards. I keep working on it. And I keep stalling on progress on that because I just cannot break what I need for the graphic design stuff. And the issue is I've got 3 different types of monsters. I've got humanoid, I've got common, and I've got the GRIT monsters. And so I got these 3 types that they need to be identified differently. And that happens with a graphic element. That's, I could write it out as a word, but the way the layout is, there's not a lot of room for that. So I want to do some kind of, because I want to tie it to a D20 roll, I want to do a graphic element that is tied to the tables, the D20 tables, that has a color and a shape. And the issue, because I'm not a graphic designer by trade, issue is where does that go on the card because there's limited space. And, what color are they? Because I'm trying to stick with the colors that are in the book, like that greenish tone. And, only certain colors look good with that. And I don't want to make it too overwhelming as far as the colors are concerned. I want to make the art of the monsters stand out more than the actual cards. So yeah, I'm struggling with that. Just to sort of make it look right. So far, I'm just not happy with it. But I think they'll be a very useful tool for folks, especially those who are playing in-person games. This overlay doesn't look so great. So yeah, that's on hold. Monster cards are still on hold, which is disappointing to me. And then I have a new idea that came up, and that was brought to me by Rich from Renegade Rolls, who has his own YouTube channel that you should check out, who suggested talking. Actually, I put out a word on my Discord channel about, kind of what topics I might cover for, grit related stuff. I think he suggested something like building characters that are from the type, like based on the types, like classes like D&D has. And I did some thinking on that, and I thought, what would be really cool, and I know somebody requested this before. I think it might have been Coyote, but another good guy on Grit, on the Grit Discord server, of making a pre-generated character set, or a set of pre-generated characters for Grit. So my idea is that, maybe I should put together a pre-generated character kit with specific types kind of built in. To the characters. And the idea is that they're going to be built with artifacts that are in the loot tables. So I'm going to stat them out like they would be in some other games. I'm not going to do it for a particular type of game. I'm looking at all different kinds of systems and trying to pick out the most like iconic styles or character types that are out there. And I'm going to make one. I'm going to use all 12 lineages to kind of fill that out. So there'll be 12 of them in the set. So I think should be a fun idea. Something to work on. And I don't think it'll take a lot of time too, so I'll probably put that on drive-through, maybe for $1 or $2, because it's going to take some work for me to get all that together. I may actually do some colorization of the characters that I made tokens out of before. I'm going to maybe do a different colorization of those and offer a token set along with it, so that you get the character sheets and the tokens to go with it. But we'll see. I don't know what the exact thing will end up being, but that's kind of the thought on that. And I know Grit does not have classes, and I was very adamant not to have classes. But these will be just built for types that people are familiar with. So you could just take those especially somebody like coming from the D&D world or other games that they've been playing all the time for long campaigns, and they want to play some Grit, just quick games of it. So they can just like, oh, here's a barbarian. Okay, I know kind of what that is. I'm familiar with a barbarian. It's not going to be exactly what a barbarian would be, but it'll get you close. So that'll be a nice quick start kind of thing to do with that. What else am I thinking of here? Oh, I woke up, this is what happens to me. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with design ideas. And so I was writing out notes for superheroes, superhero grit. So I think it has potential. And it is something that I've wanted to do. It is a future project for sure. But I have been slowly writing down notes on it. Superheroes are one of my most favorite games to play. I've run quite a number of Vigilante City, ICRPG Vigilante City, which I had a lot of fun with, but I ended up modifying a lot of it to fit my particular taste. So, again, I have stuff that I've modified from my CRPG games that will kind of work well for Grit. So, and one thing I've been thinking about with future projects, like, do I continue to create standalone Grit games? Like, okay, we have Grit Fantasy that is obviously standalone. And then I'm making the GRIT Galaxies standalone as well. But I just am not sure if future publications should be standalone. Should I put all the core rules stuff in there and all the GM things? Like, should I make them like 140 pages each, or do I just do a real minimum kind of rule set, just the core rules to get familiar with it? That's kind of just questions I've been asking myself. I mean, I could see the validity of, making sure you have at least the core rule stuff in there, because I want to make everything compatible with whatever I make in the future. I think it's important that it all kind of meshes together. Like, maybe some things will not fit well. Like, I can see superheroes having some things that are just because supers are overpowered by nature. I can picture that requiring kind of their own, like, the core rules are not going to stay the same, but there might be some differences that just make them more powerful. Like, maybe you couldn't really realistically take superheroes and dump them into a future or a sci-fi setting or fantasy setting. So just thoughts on that stuff, like, what do I end up doing with that? happy with this. I think I need to figure out a different. This will be totally different once I do a normal line drawing, and I'm not like putting color over the black, which is what I'm doing here. The black lines. So I'll be able to get better shading when I work on those things, when they're, final. Again, these are mock-ups. So this is getting into some more fun stuff, I think. Let's see what I can do with this one. Another, thought on the future books, because I have ideas for like maybe 5 more settings. Yeah, like, I don't know. Do I go for the higher page count, or do I just put out these smaller things? Do I go for the actual books, or are these going to be just like PDF supplements? I guess I can do both. Depends on the setting and stuff, maybe. I do for sure want to make a monster manual, and that will be a book, and I think that is going to be after GRIT Galaxies is done. It makes sense to do it that way, because I want the monster book the monster manual to be absolutely compatible with both. So you could, crack that book open and run any of those monsters in either fantasy or sci-fi. Now, some of the monsters may be, more better suited for one or the other, but it doesn't take much work to adapt those kinds of things in the games. I could very easily turn a troll into some kind of thing that's sci-fi. You don't even have to, it can look totally different. It can have the same stats and everything, but it can be just a different creature. So anyway, I think I've already kind of done the setup, the initial layout. I've started on that. Just because I wanted to get an idea how much, kind of what I was in for, what it was going to look like. It's looking like probably between 100 pages and 110 pages. And I think it's going to be 6 D12, 6 sections of monsters, 6 types, like main types of monsters, all based on D12 rolls, so there'd be 12 of each, so 6 sections of 12 each. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, actually, because that's going to be illustration heavy. There's going to be very little. I'm going to have to write all the monsters out, but that's fairly minimal compared to writing other things. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a monster builder. I may have mentioned all this before. I don't know, but I'm not going to do. I'm deciding whether or not I should do a monster builder, because there's already, those in the book, in the other books. I don't know if I want to really repeat that, because I don't think you're going to get that much out of it. to have yet another monster builder. But I might include some notorious monsters, or, creatures that have a name, that the monster types are in the book and there's one that's like famous or whatever. I don't know. I may or may not do that. I don't know. But there'll be a nice rollable tables in the book, so you can randomly generate everything. I think I'm going to put an index in the back, kind of looking at, like other monster manuals do. So just so that everything's easy to access. Of course, there's going to be a section that's just weird and bizarre creatures, which are my favorites. Which goes hand in hand with the weird and bizarre loot that are just going to be something like that in GRIT Galaxies as well. I know there's one in Fantasy. So, should be a good time. Another thing I've been thinking about is trying to get into a game as a player somewhere. I know Ryan, my good buddy, who was editor of GRIT Fantasy, he is designing his own game called Limitless, which is awesome. And he's going to be, running play tests of that, which is cool. I have played in 2 or 3 games of his with that so far, and it's been a lot of fun. That seems like maybe not happening, because he's a busy guy, so not happening a lot. But I'm just feeling like I need to get into some one-shot games that are just narrative focused, not just like clobber monsters all the time, like something interesting with an interesting theme that's not typical fantasy, and maybe not even in fantasy at all. I don't know. I just feel like I need to expand some experiences with what I'm doing as a gamer. I feel like I'm in this design mode now, and I'm playing games of GRIT, but they're test games. So they're not, they are fun, but they're not, I feel like my focus is not sort of on, like regular games. So it'd be nice to be in something different as a player. No idea how that'll happen, but you know. This one's a little more complicated, which is cool. This reminds me of some of the drawings I did a long time ago for a monthly, the Inktober challenge back in the day. It's a long time ago. Maybe 2019. On the ICRPG forums, which are no longer in existence, which is just a shame. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good conversation and good people on there. It kind of just went bye recently, which was sad to see. It was a place that met a lot of good people through that. And for the future, for people getting into the game or looking for community, I know there's Discord and stuff, but that was a good meeting spot, I think. Maybe it's just a sign of the times too, like, Discord is a thing now, where when that started, Discord wasn't really even a thing. So, I don't know. It's, I don't know how many people were actually on it. It seemed like it was kind of fading a bit. Like, people just went to Discord a lot, and yeah, we saw a lot less gamers on that. Once the Runehammer Discord was happening a lot. Where is that? There it is. Getting close here. Gonna wrap it up here soon, I think. It's good to do this. It had been a long time, actually. need some red. Yeah, these are going to look fun in the book, especially with color. It's going to really make a difference. I think we need some purple in there just to make this liquid stand out, whatever's in this thing, in this vat. Or tube, rather. Yeah, so I don't know what my next video is going to be quite yet. I've got some ideas. I think I need to start a new series. Actually, that's not GRIT specific. It talks about just some role-playing stuff in general. I would love to do record some more games of GRIT, though. So that's kind of something that I've been thinking about. And I think I'm going to leave this drawing as it is. Kind of happy with it. All right, let's go through it real quick, see what I did here. Just some basic stuff, but hey, I think I'm going to be able to put together some interesting things with these. Oh, that's one I skipped. A good start, I think. Let's see what I can do with kind of assembling these. So this is kind of what I was thinking of doing. Of course, the scale all has to be right. Like, you know, it's the size of the lines and stuff have to, you know, work well together. Let's do this cool one here. So I'm just copying and pasting these or not pasting, but copying them and putting them over the top. And I had another one that was like just a regular pipe. I know that's kind of coming off or going off screen here, but this is definitely what I was hoping to do with all this stuff. And I could put this one underneath. See how it kind of creates this cool machine that's just weird. Like, this is what I had in my mind when I was doing all this stuff. Oops. So if you can picture, there's going to be sections of the book with, you know, weird stuff like this. Maybe a creature in front of it. Or maybe this is going to be part of the, you know, maybe something like this will be behind a monster. Or just filling in sections that you can't really, like I want to fill in something else that's not a creature or a character. So this is just kind of where I'm thinking about, what I'm thinking about with this stuff. And I have to say, I really like it. So anyway, I have rambled and rumbled. It sounds okay, I guess. I didn't really rumble, but yeah, that is what I have for today. And you know, thanks for just sitting here and listening in on what I'm working through here. And I hope any of that made sense. I can't even remember what I even said. So anyway, I hope you guys are out there gaming and having fun and all that. And until next time, take care of yourselves and keep rolling those dice.